Hello? Let's see. I think I've maybe got you on mute.
Let's see.
Are you unmuted?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. Let me see. Looks like it's just you and me for right now.
Okay. Well, I can wait patiently.
Right. That's right. That's good. That's good. Well, I want to thank you for your help. That's good help. Now, is there anybody over, are people still physically in the library or?
There's 1 to 2 people most days, weekdays there that can help with printing or something of that nature. It happens to be because of the holiday today, and this weekend there's no one there.
Sure.
But
Gotcha.
If students start sending me something for emails or something they need printed, I can get it to the library staff Monday morning, and hopefully they can get it out that day.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're getting a few more people coming in. Hey, Taylor. There he is. There's Anna, Samantha. Okay. I think we should have a few more now. When you first come on, I think it automatically makes your microphone muted.
Yeah.
So you could try unmuting it and testing that out. I'm trying to record this as well so that, some people can't make this. They could watch watch it later. So I'm still trying to, let's see, it looks like I can unmute you. So I'm going to unmute everybody right now. It says we got 6 people. Wait a minute, I need to admit Abigail. Okay. Whenever I see this, it reminds me of the Brady Bunch. It's got like, it's sort of like the Brady Bunch because they start getting windows of people and they can turn and, people, stuff like that. But, you guys probably don't remember the Brady Bunch too much. So, okay.
Phew.
Oh,
Shoot.
Thank you.
all right. Now I'm trying to see. Let me change. Okay, that's better, I think. Now I can see who's here. 2 people are waiting. Looks like Silas and Cyrus. Says Silas is on his iPhone. There he is. Hey, man.
Hey.
Let's see. So everybody should be unmuted. I can see everybody but Cyrus. It looks like he doesn't have his video on. He must be.
Yeah, I don't have a webcam on my desktop, but I have a microphone.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. That's no problem. Okay, wait a minute. Looks like Peter's here now. Josiah. So, I guess people actually do read emails. I'm kind of wondering if, if anybody was actually going to show up. I didn't know. There's Joshua, or Josiah, sorry. Josiah, we don't see you. Maybe you don't have a camera or you got it turned off. Gail got her camera turned off, her microphone. Everybody's going dark. That's all right. I guess we don't actually have to see you, but it's kind of nice to see everybody, see that everybody's doing well. So I am, as I've told, I don't know, let's see who we're missing. Anybody might be missing, I know we're going to be missing at least 1, but maybe 2. So I am trying to record this on the Zoom recording feature. So hopefully that will work. And let me see if I can share, let's see, participants. We got 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I'm going to try to share my screen now. And what I thought I might do is just go through a PowerPoint for you. We'll see how this works if I actually put it up like a PowerPoint. Okay. Show the grid video. Okay, now I can see. But I guess if I do that, then you can see everybody too. So maybe I should. I'll hide the thumbnails for now. Okay. Well, let me just go through this quickly. You know, I've got the free version of this software. So we have 40 minutes maximum. I guess we need more time. We could set up another meeting or whatever, or I could individually meet with people this way. So what I thought I would do is just go through this PowerPoint, and then we have one of our librarians with us as well today. So that is, I think that's exciting. Mr. Glenn Pearl, and he works over at the library, and he's been helping me track down what we can get through the library for you, because I know, you know, everybody's remotely secluded or whatever. You know, kind of like Dick Cheney used to be. He said he was in a undisclosed location. I remember that back during 9/11. They didn't want to tell anybody where everybody was in case somebody wanted to get them. So let's just go through this. I think I got about 10 screens, and then we'll have Mr. Pearl add in, and I can try to take any questions or whatever. All right. So we're here to talk about your A&E archaeology paper about a site. And there are all kinds of possible sites. Somebody was asking me, what can we write about? And so I just listed a few, just a few for you here. A lot of these are from Israel. Some of them are from Jordan. Some of them are from Egypt. Some of them are from Iraq. Geographically, we are looking for, or I'm looking for you to pick a site that is geographically in the area of the Middle East. So Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Israel, Lebanon, even Turkey, all of those will count. So geographically, I'm looking for that, okay? You know, that's what I'm looking for. Now, chronologically, what I'm looking for is something that deals with the Old Testament. So primarily, but you know, it could be a tangent to that. So that's basically means you can start clear back at like 4000 BC or something. You do Ur, that's fair game. Ebla, you know, you do some of these early Bronze Age sites, Iron Age sites. And we'll end it up in the Hellenistic period. If you're excited about a particular site and you're wondering, just send me an email or ask me right here, and then we can see that. Now, when I do this, can you see this little box over here? In there? Let me admit David here. I don't know, what can you see? You just see my PowerPoint screen?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So I can see you, but you can't see me. Okay, so anyway, so here are the different sites you can do. First of all, anything goes geographically from Mesopotamia over to Egypt, from Turkey down to Israel, Jordan. All right, so there's a whole list. All right, let's go to the next one. If I can get this to work, here we go. Some general guidelines. Now, these general guidelines are they're in the syllabus, they're on the MyFire, but basically, an archaeological site appropriate for this course, which we've just gone over. And I'd want people one person per topic. I do that in part to get a more diversity, but also since there's limited resources, I don't have everybody going after the same thing. Paper should be 2,400 words and no more than 3,000 words, excluding all the extraneous stuff. The Chicago manual style. I mean, that's typical for all the history courses. That's what we use, 12-point type. In other words, don't give me, I don't put up pages anymore because like 8 pages or something, I just put down the words. Okay. And I want you to use some periodical articles, a standard reference, and of course, don't forget your textbook. Your textbook is it has a lot of information in it as well. It's a good place to start. But I know for now, of course, accessing standard references and periodical articles can be difficult. So that's why we're talking today. Because hopefully all of you have already picked your topic and you've already done a lot of research. But if you haven't, then this is our session to try to get you going on that. The references, I've got a list of them. The library doesn't have a lot of those references, and part of the problem is they're not online, some of these standard references. But Mr. Pearl has said that if we email, like if you pick a site today and you email him or the library, then they'll go to the Anchor Bible Dictionary, for example, and look that up for you and actually scan it and email it to you. Also, same kind of thing with articles, journal articles that the library possesses that maybe is not online. Now, I figure interlibrary loan, it's too late for that at this point if you haven't already done it because of the situation. I don't know how fast that kind of thing would work, but your paper is due, you know, it's coming up pretty quickly here. Other details, then I give you a list, and I'm not going to read through all of these because you can read them, but basically just a general description. Where is the site? Where is it located? How's it fit into history of it? Who excavated it? And when did they excavate it? And there might be more than one person who has excavated it. In other words, more than one team. Especially like, say, a site like Megiddo. Megiddo has been excavated several times. And almost continuously, I guess maybe not, but it's been really excavated for the past 100 years. There's been a lot of different people there. Okay, University of Chicago excavated there for many years, and the thing that stopped the excavation was really World War II, right? And so then after World War II, other people began excavating there, Yadin, and now Finkelstein, and so forth. So, you know, who excavated there, when, and sort of a chronology of what's there architecturally. You know, how many building levels, you know, what sort of buildings are there, and all that really depends on your site. Then a description of what you consider to be the most important building or two, you know, and then some of the pottery. So I'm really wanting you to kind of look at the various things that are available. General description of at least one other kind of artifact besides pottery. So it could be a coin, could be a bead, could be a stone relief, could be an inscription, you know, just to take a look at something else that's there. And then if you can find any biblical references to the site, certainly include that. Depending on your site, some there will be a lot, some there won't be maybe any. And then of course your bibliography and some illustrations. These you could do from, you know, you can do a screen capture of something. I don't know if you've ever done that. Use print screen, and then you can save that as an image and trim it down. And, you know, so if you find something online, You don't necessarily have to photocopy it or something or scan it. You could actually use a scanner if you have one, or you could use a print screen and have an image. Okay, so be creative, especially given our situation. Now, when it comes to journals, I was wanting you to use at least one article from the following journals. Now, several of these journals our library does not have. Some of them they have, though, electronically. Some of them they have physically. That is, they're in the building. And so if you act quickly and figure out what it is you need, you could quite possibly get a hold of an article or two that way. So I put these up here. You can go back and review this. I will also post this PowerPoint on the site. Journals available full text, as Mr. Pearl has notified me. We have Palestine Exploration Quarterly, okay? Palestine Exploration Quarterly, or PEQ, as it's known by typically, as you can see the picture there of PEQ. It says the complete database, EBSCO, from 2004 to the present. And of course, with all of these things that are online full text, they don't give you the most recent year. That way, you know, people will stop actually getting the journal and just have it online. So they make you wait a year. Also, the Biblical Archaeologist, now called Near Eastern Archaeology, NEA. You see, I got a cover here. Actually, Biblical Archaeologist, NEA, is a popular journal. That is, it's intended for, you know, not field archaeologists, but it has a variety of things in there. So both of those are available to search, and we'll talk more about that later. And so those would be really handy for you to use. By the way, you'll notice I've got this thing that says Logos Bible Software. I don't know if any of you have that or have access to it. It has a lot of information you might be able to use. And I know that it has the Near East Archaeological Society Bulletin, the NEASB, is a full text on Logos Bible Software. And that's probably why it's not available some of these other ways. Because Logos Bible Software is basically a program, and then there's a whole bunch of books, commentaries, journals, and stuff that people sort of buy them electronically. So just in case, I told you that. More about journals. Now, this, I'm going to go through the rest of my stuff, and we'll come back to some of this with Mr. Pearl, because he's going to tell us some of the ways to search for these things. But here it is. If you go to our library site, and then you, here we got somebody. Oh, okay. There is Ireland. Ireland's joining us. So if you go to the library website, excuse me. Oh, Frank. Okay, Frank is joining us. Okay. By the way, Frank and Ireland, we're just going to go over a PowerPoint about the paper, and supposedly Zoom is recording this, and I'll be able to upload it, send it to a file, or I'll find a way to use it. So, and EBSCO, not the standard EBSCO search, but he says, and I'm going to let him go through that in a moment. So let me just go on with the stuff that I have, and we'll come back to some of that searching. As he says, some of the stuff you're going to find will be only in print articles and not full text online. But if you send that as an email, then the staff, as he was just telling me before we as we're getting started, there's one or two people in the library, I guess, even now during this situation, who are just sort of looking for resources like this and sort of holding down the fort over there on campus. But they will scan the article and email it to you. Okay. Now, he gives us some ways to search. and we'll talk about those more. But here's what the library has. Okay, so what I've done here is he sent me a list, and I've put the list up here. These are things that the library has, okay? So we've mentioned Biblical Archaeologist, now Near Eastern Archaeology. That is available online, PDF, you can read it. The same with PEQ, Palestine Exploration Quarterly. You can get that PDF as well. Now, stuff that's print, that is, our library owns it, and it's on the shelf. The Israel Exploration Journal, and Biblical Archaeology Review, which has a lot of stuff in it, and the Bulletin of the American Schools of Oriental Research, or BASOR. That's a more scholarly journal. So keep that in mind as you're searching and you need to find some articles. And part of the reason I ask you to look at some articles is that, you know, when you're doing archaeology, a lot of the things that you do never make it. They sort of never make it in a book form. That's my dog, by the way. We're probably going to hear him again because he likes to bark, especially anything he sees out the window. But at any rate, you can find a lot of the information there. Okay, let's move on. The reference works, and I've asked before this situation started to take a look at the Oxford Encyclopedia of Near Eastern Archaeology, which our library doesn't have. Neither do they have the new Encyclopedia of Archaeological Excavations in the Holy Land, which is quite a title. But they do have the Anchor Bible Dictionary. So I would say rely upon that. Try to get that. What they'll do, if you cite, you could ask them if it's in that journal. You might be able to find some other stuff online that are sort of reference things as well. But for example, Anchor Bible Dictionary, I think, is 6 volumes, and it has every proper noun that's mentioned in the Bible, and the Apocrypha has an entry. So this is something I worked on a long time ago now. You know, it's been a while that it's been out, but I ended up doing, I don't know, 18 or 20 little articles in it. And so I can tell you every proper noun in there, every place name has an entry, sometimes a short one, but it'll be in there. So if you find a site that's at all related to the Bible, it will be mentioned in the Anchor Bible Dictionary. We'll also have some bibliography, and depending on the site, it could have a lengthy article about it. Okay. And so how do you get the books? You go to our library. We'll show you that in a moment. But here is our address. I don't know if I can mute myself. I probably can, but I guess we're just going to have to compete with the dogs once they get excited. Sorry about that. And so you can do a general search when you get to the library website, and you just put in SU, that means subject, leave out the quote marks, and just put SU : Jerusalem, then capital and this is a Boolean search, I believe is what they call it. And then you do SU, which is subject, archaeology. So, you know, you could also, I suppose, put in AU for author or something like that. But for general, then you click search, and we'll try that in a moment. Then under format, you want to click ebook. It's going to show you a lot of stuff there that we might have, but that you can't get access to easily. But the ebook then is full text. Another thing he suggests was try the site name, whatever your site name is. If it's Megiddo, and then put SU Archaeology. So SU Megiddo, SU Archaeology. Another thing that I wanted to tell you about, and we'll take a look at this quickly if we have time, is the National Emergency Library. It's something you have to create a little login for, but it's pretty simple. All you gotta do is put an email in, and if you put your email in, you can quickly make an account. And I think until July or until they end the national emergency, there are over I don't know what it is, like 1.5 million books on this. All kinds of things. There's videos and there's books and so forth. So you can go there and I'll show you that, and you can find things there through various kinds of searches. And those books are all accessible. I believe you can only check out like 10 at a time, 10 books at a time, something like that. But then what they've done is they've suspended renewal and numbers of copies that can be out. So basically it's wide open. You get done using a book, just check it back in, go do another one, and you can use it for 2 weeks. Okay, so that's going to be enough time for us, and then you can renew it immediately right afterwards. So, okay, so keep that in mind, a National Emergency Library, and I've got the website there. It's called archive.org. Okay, archive.org. Another thing I wanted to mention to you, and we'll take a look at this, is Google Scholar. I don't know if you've ever used Google Scholar, but if you just go out to Google and Google stuff, you know, you find a lot of stuff, but you never know what you're finding. You're finding, you know, like if you put in the name Megiddo and search it on Google, you're going to find all kinds of stuff, but a lot of it may not be of much value. You know, it's going to be a lot of, like, could be a junior high kid did a thing about Megiddo, could be some bunch of stuff about Armageddon and battles of the end of the world. You never know what you're going to find. If you go to Google Scholar, it filters out a lot of that kind of stuff. It's just scholar.google.com. And I'll show you a neat feature on there where you can actually search our library through Google Scholar, because if you have your student ID, that's what you're going to need to access the online resources of our library. And once you log in, you have to log in with the password like you use for your email. Well, if you do that on Google Scholar, then the articles that are linked, full text, will pop right up there, and you can get it right that way. That's another way to do a search. We'll also mention there are a few sources here. You might just want to check it because it's free. Project Gutenberg has over 60,000 volumes. Now, a lot of it is older stuff, and a lot of it is, like fiction and stuff like that. But I did find a few things on there. I just kind of did a quick search. So you might keep that in mind. All right, so those are the things that I had for the PowerPoint. Let's see who all we have here now. Speaker view. Okay. Are there any questions at this point? And then what I might ask is Mr. Pearl to say a few things. And, well, here's somebody waiting to admit. Peter, I thought Peter was already in. Peter must have exited and then came back. Okay, sorry, didn't know you exited. Okay, so like I said, I'm recording this so you can watch it later. But Mr. Pearl, do you have anything you'd want to say or add? I think your microphone works there.
It's working. Yep.
Okay, and I thought about going like to some of the sites and quickly and just showing basically how I've done some searches.
Okay.
But I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to add.
It might be helpful, at least in terms of the journals, to talk a little bit about them, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Let me share my screen with you here. Let me get the correct one here. Hopefully, there we go. You see the library webpage there?
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Library.seu.edu will get you there. Again, you can put in that SU dot and no space after it, or the colon rather, and no space after it, and then the name of the site, and then any archaeology or some other term that you want, and search for books that way. But in terms of journals, what I want to suggest is that you scroll down on the right side over here to where you see EBSCO. and click that.
Okay.
And once it's clicked, I hope it will work here. Let's see. Taking its time. This brings you to the EBSCO main screen, main search base. But here you're going to be searching all the journals that we have and all the databases that we have. So click Choose Databases. And then it brings up the list of the databases that are available. If you go above the word OK and click where it says Select, and then unclick it, it removes all the check marks. And then you can select the exact database that you want. The third one down is Atlas Religion Database. Click it, and then click OK. And that will take you back to the search screen. But now you will only be searching in this Atlas database. Instead of starting here to search what you normally would do, I would suggest going up here to Publications, clicking that. And then here again is that EBSCO main search bar. Skip it and go down here and then type in one of the titles, one of the journals that's on your list. For instance, we'll try the Palestine Explorations Quarterly. Click it in there. I mean, you could type it in, whatever. Mine's upset because I've been working with it, but you'd have to enter the title, click Browse. That brings it right to almost to the top. Sometimes it'll be the second or third position. You'll notice it says bibliographic coverage begins. There's no PDF column there, which indicates it is not all in full text. If you notice the next one down, which you wouldn't want to use, but to give you an example, it would have PDF by it if it's all full text. And so if I click this, it's going to bring up that particular journal. And at that point, it gives you the information on the journal. Here are the years. You can click on one of the years and it will give you by volumes. So you can search that way. But instead of doing that, once you're at the journal title, you've specified, I want this journal. Click search within this publication, little blue link here. If you click it, what it's going to do is set up a scenario where you can search within this one journal for the site that you're wanting. So I can do it here. I personally prefer going to the advanced search. I mean, you protect the code that's in there for the journal, and then down in the next slot, just simply put in, let's say, give it a search, and it brings up about 285 articles that are there. Now you'll notice it's PDF for some, but there will be many that will not. This just happens to be we're in a group that looks like they're all there. But if it says PDF full text, you've got it. Just click it, it brings it up, and you could download it like you would any other database item off of EBSCO. If it happens to be that it's just simply HTML, or not HTML, but just see if I can find an example here. It's not wanting to cooperate and show me one. One that is not full text. Oh, right there's one. It's got full text finder on it. That means nothing on this particular title. What it means, it's going to click to the Steelman Library Journal, which is basically our print collection. But if, for instance, this was an article you wanted, you were really interested in it, it's in print, you can simply, if you're using a PC, down at the bottom here on the left, there'll be a little place where you can type in snippet, S-N-I-P-P-I-T, I think it is. It will bring up a little screen and it will allow you to take a snapshot. Take a snapshot of what's there, then take that and go up to where it says edit. Let me see if I can pull it up here on the screen. I don't know if you can see it or not. Can you see that? I'm not sure whether you can see snippet tool or not. Little box here.
I don't see the snippet tool.
Okay, it's just a little bitty box that will say, it will have the word new on it. If you click new, what it will do is put the screen in a lighter context. Then you can just simply highlight the article that you're wanting. Click, I think it'll say once you've done that, it'll go to an edit screen. You can click edit and it will say copy. You can copy it and then paste it in an email and send it to me. And then we can go there. So in this case, you're getting mostly, it looks like, full text articles. But if it happens to be that an article you want is not available in full text, it's possible, and that will be the case with the majority of those journals on your list, that they won't be in full text. So you'll have to do that. You can put it in an email and send it to me. That'd probably be the easiest thing to do. G.A.Pearl, P-E-A-R-L, at seu.edu. G.A.P-E-A-R-L at seu.edu.
Okay.
That to me, I'll get it in. Again, this weekend, the holiday weekend, there's no one in the library today, but there will be Monday morning, and if you want to email me over the weekend with what you want hunted, I can do that. Same with the Anchor Bible Dictionary. You let me know the topic that you want searched. I can do that and get that information in Monday morning, and hopefully by the end of the day Monday you'll have the information you're wanting if we can find it. Not all. While it gives the PowerPoint that was just presented gives you a listing of the range of dates on the printed journals, I can't guarantee that that is complete. There may be gaps in that collection. And so it's possible we may not have it, but if we have it, we'll get it to you and do as best we can. But that's basically what I had to say. If there's questions you might want to ask or something, I'm certainly amenable to that.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions for him? It's very nice of him to work for us. He searched a lot of things and then agreed to be here for our meeting. So this is a good chance for you, by the way, for you to talk to him directly. And by the way, also on the library website, they do have a little chat mode that, you can talk to a librarian, but why do that right here? Anybody have any questions?
If you have a question that comes up over the weekend or while you're doing your research, you are welcome to contact me. Just use that email, contact me, and I'll be glad to respond to it as best I can.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
If you need to leave, then go right ahead.
Okay.
Feel free.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Man. And we'll continue on for a few more minutes and see if anybody else has any questions or issues.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. All right, well, that was great. I'm glad he was there with us. I think maybe one of the things I might do while I'm thinking about it is let me go to got to find the right screen. Gives me a lot of choices. So let me go to, let me share the screen. And then what I'm going to do is actually shut this stuff down. And I want to go out and just show you, for example, this National Emergency Library. Which you can, I've already joined it. It took about a minute or so. But for example, you can see 1.3, almost 1.4 million titles. So let's just say I put in Megiddo. As you can see, I've already searched it that way. And it takes it a moment to search. Should be searching. Let's try it again. And so here you see, what is it? 32 books on Megiddo. Now, of course, again, you get a wide variety, but I could recommend, for example, this series of Cities of the Biblical World, Megiddo. That is.
Sorry, I don't know if this is the case for everyone else, but I'm only seeing your slideshow right now. I'm not seeing a web page.
You're not seeing a web page.
Mm-mm.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Maybe I did it wrong. Let me try this again. So you are seeing that. Okay, let me take that off. Let me just take it down. Now, Share screen has stopped. Okay. All right, that's good. Let me try it again. Where did it go? I must be picking the wrong one. Here, let me do this. Let's share this now. Now you see the library website? Everybody? Anybody?
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, this is fine. We'll go to that one in a second. This is the chat now thing I told you about, where they will come and help you, and he already showed you the search functions there. So what happens is I get a lot of things popping up. So this is what's making this a little bit tougher. Here we go. So now you can see this. Let me go back to it. Okay, this is the national. Now everybody can see the National Emergency Library, I hope. Almost 1.4 million volumes. So one of the things I just typed in, just for an example, is I typed in Megiddo, okay? So when Megiddo pops up, here you can see 32 books, full text, that you can check out, including one on Hatzor by Yigal Yadin. So if you're doing that site, here's 50 major cities of the Bible. This might be a good thing if you're still wondering about what to choose. Notice it says you can borrow this book for 14 days. And if you click on it, you don't get to see too much of it. But if you go ahead and borrow the book, which happens instantaneously, okay, now you can see the whole book, and you can make it bigger. Okay. And here's a lot of sites. For example, I didn't list AI or Etel, all right, Arad, Arawera. So this might not be a bad place to just go look and get some ideas. Best, Hatzor, Megiddo, so forth, okay? And then what I think is kind of neat is you go over here and just go to whichever page number you want, and it'll pops open. So this works pretty well. You can download it as a PDF if you'd like, or you can just read it online like this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and return this book. And you can have up to 10 books out at once. So, okay. So it takes a little bit of discretion, I suppose. Like I was telling you, this book here, Cities of the Biblical World, this was a series of books put out, I don't know, 20 years ago. And they have them on different sites. So you might be able to find some of those in here. So you never know. That's the National Emergency, whatever they're calling it, Emergency Library. Okay. Let me go to Google Scholar. I wanted to show you this. Google Scholar, let's say I type in Megiddo here, just because that was sort of my test case. When Megiddo shows up, take a look at this. You've got all kinds of stuff that you can look at. If we go to a regular Google page, and I type in Megiddo, you know, the first thing that comes up is Wikipedia. Okay, so I mean, it's, you know, and some videos, different things, and a lot of tourist stuff, and a lot of things that they're trying to sell you things. So, you know, you might be able to use some of that as well, but some of these dialogue boxes trouble for me. But anyway, so let me see if I can get back to Google Scholar. Let's do it this way, probably simpler. And go to Megiddo. Okay. Let's say you wanted this one by Yadin. Let's click on it. Now, here's what it's going to show you. Now, it's going to show you the article, and I think it knows I've already logged in. I don't know. Let's see if we can get the whole thing. But what you might have to do is log in with our library, because that's what happened to me the first time I logged in. It says, are you connected with a library? I said, yes, Southeastern. And he wanted me to log into that library. But here is Near Eastern Archaeology. And let me see. I don't know if we got the full text here or not. Kind of looks like maybe we do. This is the first page. Here's the PDF. So here's the whole thing, Biblical Archaeologist. All right. So that's another way to get at things, is through doing that. Is Project Gutenberg. And again, I typed in Megiddo. Not that I'm pushing the site of Megiddo, but here is one book from Megiddo. Okay, not a lot. A lot of these are older books, but this has been downloaded that many times. One thing I did type in here, however, was biblical. Biblical archaeology. And I don't know, I found stuff there before. All right. Anyway, I would suggest that you search on all of these, but start with our library and see what you can find. Okay. Let me see if I can end the screen share. Go, here we go. Stop sharing. There it is. Okay. So now, seems like we have most of the class here. Do you guys have any questions for me at all? Let's just do it that way before we end.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's say we pick a site that doesn't really have much to do or isn't connected with the Bible per se.
Sure. Sure.
And you mentioned that we need to have those reference works.
Yeah, you could probably find some other reference works that would.
Okay.
That's the thing is, if you've got a site like that and you got a specific question like that, you can always send me an email or whatever,
okay,
and we'll try to work it out. Yeah, you don't have to do a biblical site. And right, the Anchor Bible Dictionary, if it's not at all in a part of the Bible, it won't be there, but we might be able to find some other kind of reference. You could even use, something like an encyclopedia. I'm not opposed to Wikipedia. It's just you got to be really careful with Wikipedia. I don't think it's a bad place to start, but you just have to know that Wikipedia can be edited at any time, and you don't know who's doing it. And, so you don't know if everything in there is right. But I think Wikipedia is a fine place to start. Don't tell anybody I told you that, but I think it's a place to go ahead and get started. And then there's usually some bibliography and some stuff at the bottom, some references. And then you can go kind of track it down, see, like they'll put a quote up there, they'll have a little number, a footnote, and then you go and see what source are they actually using for this. But it's not a bad place to start. Anyway, so I don't know if that answers your question. Do you have a site in mind?
Hierakonpolis.
Is this? Tell me where that site is. Is that
Egypt?
Egypt. Okay.
Where the Narmer palette was found.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, that would be excellent. That would be excellent. And there are what I'm talking about with the reference thing is just there are a series of books that are usually called an encyclopedia or a dictionary or something like that. And they're not like the normal sort of things, encyclopedias or dictionaries you might have seen, but they are reference works. And so, but I'm sure, yeah, that would be a great site. And see what you can find. And we can, don't let the requirements hold you back as far as, you can't find it in, you got limited sources. right now, and I'm just wanting to get a kind of overview shot and get some good bibliography, some things to look at. And from there, you'll find some journals. Now, one thing that he clicked and he told you about was Atla. But the other thing I would also recommend to you is JSTOR, JSTOR. JSTOR is an excellent online source that our library has access to, and has a lot of stuff from history, social sciences, and full text. Atla is good for religion, things connected to the Bible, but not all of your site, And so what you might do is, instead of like he had you restrict it to Atla, you might go and maybe not restrict it at all. Of course, you might get overwhelmed by the results, but remember also JSTOR, and there's some other sources like that are out there. Anybody else have a question?
Oh, I have a question.
Yes, David.
Would Mycenaean sites be allowed for the paper?
Tell me that again. What was that again?
Sorry. Would Mycenaean sites be allowed for the paper?
Oh, Mycenaean sites. Well, that's sure. I'm going to have a pretty, if you're really interested in a site, if it's kind of the Mediterranean world, then sure, you could do a Mycenaean site. Which one are you thinking about?
I'm considering doing Pylos.
Okay, Pylos. Yeah, that would be fine. That would be a fine site. Yeah, I'm letting you cast the net pretty wide. Anna has already picked her site, I think, is what she told me, right? Qumran, which is a little bit late, but I'm also going up through the Hellenistic period. So, okay. If somebody has a desire of a site and we can kind of justify it's got something to do with the ancient Near East, then okay, that's fine. I'm not going to be real picky. Anybody else?
I had a quick question. So in terms of development for the paper, how do you want it to be laid out? Do you want us to provide a historical context to the site and then sort of go into the artifacts that we find? And then how would you sort of want us to wrap it up?
Yeah, I kind of give you that sort of outline. I did that because I had a lot of people that would sort of get confused and wouldn't know where to get started. I would say to wrap it up, then I would, make some concluding remarks of maybe about the significance of the site or the significance of the finds.
Okay.
Right. That sort of
thing.
thing.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Some of you are still muted. I'm leaving you muted because, I think you want to be muted. But if you want to talk, you just have to unmute yourself.
I have one.
I had a question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, Abigail, go ahead.
Okay. I was just like looking at different sites. Off the top of your head, do you know if Baalbek would be an appropriate site for the paper?
Well, Baalbek is mostly a Roman site. It has been excavated. To be quite honest, there hasn't been a lot of work there done recently because of Hezbollah. Hezbollah's headquarters is in Baalbek, in the Bekaa Valley, so that's kind of discouraged archaeologists from going there in the last 40 years. It's possible if you're really interested in it, but it's mostly, there might be some pre-Roman. I'm sure there was pre-Roman stuff there. So if you look at Baalbek and, try to see if you can see what you can find.
Yeah, I Wikipedia'd it, and it said that there was some pre-Roman, and I just didn't know if you knew off the top of your head if there was enough pre-Roman for like the paper.
I'm sure there's enough pre-Roman stuff there, but I don't know if it's been published.
Okay.
Because the site, I had a chance to go to Baalbek once, a guy in a taxi. I was in Syria, which I don't recommend right now. Syria, and I was at, I believe it was at Crac de Chevalier, which is the Great Crusader Castle, finest one. And a guy was there, or maybe I was in Damascus. Anyway, the guy said, "Hey, you want to go see Baalbek?" I'll take you for like $50 or something. And he was going to drive me. There was another guy he said, well, I'll drive you over to Baalbek, like spend the day and I'll drive you back to Damascus. I wanted to do it, but I just thought, I don't know this guy. I know Baalbek has got Hezbollah and they like to kidnap people. So I just thought, you know what? I just turned him down. So that was my chance to go to Baalbek. So therefore, I've never been there. But it is a magnificent site.
It is really cool. I've been there. That's the only.
Oh, you've been to Baalbek?
Yeah, I did an internship in Lebanon over the summer. So they took that. The family I lived with lived a solid 20 minutes away from the Syrian border. So we went there and went to a couple of other sites, but it's like the only thing that I kind of like knew off the top of my head.
Well, if you've been there, then do that site.
Okay.
See what you can find. And if you can't find any, look it over. Anybody who's visited a site that they're really interested to study, then that's, I would rather encourage you to take what you've already gathered some information about or have some experience with. So yeah, been to Baalbek. Well, yeah, I'm jealous. I want to go. Maybe someday I'll get to go. But yeah, do Baalbek. That's fine. And Anna, I believe you've been to Qumran, haven't you?
Yes. Yes.
And didn't we go there together? I think.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that day. Remember we were in the vans and going, and some of the students, once we got to Qumran, they were disappointed. I think they went, "Why are we here?" And all this stuff. And because it is not an impressive, like when you just look at it, it's not as impressive. So somebody who was in the van where they were saying that kind of stuff and now wants to actually write a paper about it, I'm all for it. So Qumran. Taylor's got his. It says, how about Frank? You got one?
Yeah. So like if we have a list of, like right now, my list of sites is kind of like short, so I'm going to do some more research on different places. But like, when's a good time for us to tell you like what we actually want to do, like by the end of the weekend or?
We're getting pretty close now. So if you want to send me the list or ask me about it, maybe I give you some suggestions. But yeah, I think pick something so that you can get working on it because time is of the essence. So yeah. Ireland, did you have one? Not yet? Okay. Peter, how about you? You got one?
I was thinking on doing it on Nineveh, maybe.
Oh, Nineveh. Yeah, well, Nineveh would be a great site. And that's of course, in Iraq today. So there's been work there. A lot of the work that's been done there has been done, like during the Ottoman period, and then, right before World War II, there's been a lot more stuff done there. The stuff since then, there has been some stuff done. I don't know how easy it would be to access that information.
Okay.
Let's see. Samantha, you got a site? You picked one out, or you got a list?
No, but I will.
Okay.
Have it by the end of the weekend. My capstone is due on Monday, so I've been kind of focused on that. But
okay, yeah, that's fine. I understand. Well, yeah, I know it's a busy time and a strange time. So I guess what I suggest then for any or all of you, and it would be a good thing once you have decided what your site is, just to send it to me in an email. The other thing about that is that as I am looking around the internet, if I find a good source or something, then I could perhaps help you out by sending you something. Okay, because I got a pretty good library here at home on archaeological sites. And if I know what you're doing, I might be able to find you some, send you a couple pictures of a page or scan it or something. I could help you out a bit. But of course, if I don't know what you're doing, then I can't do that. And I might actually post it so everybody knows. And if somebody runs across something, Taylor's searching his stuff and he runs across something he thinks Anna could use or whatever, and you could just send each other an email, say, hey, I found this on wherever, I found it on Google Scholar or something. Okay, so that's a good thing. You help each other out. Cooperative research, right? You're doing your own stuff, but sometimes you run into stuff that other people could use. Any other questions?
I have another question. I'm still working on my list, but would the Temple of Serapis be pushing it since he was a Greco-Egyptian deity?
Serapis, yeah. Well, definitely Greco-Roman. I guess it could be Hellenistic. But now, here's one thing you want to be careful of. If you just choose one building, I think you probably don't want to choose just one building. You'd want to choose an entire site. Because if you choose just one building, it's going to really limit you, okay? So for example, if at Baalbek you chose the Temple of Jupiter, right? And, so now you've got a really narrow thing. So you want to do the whole site. And same with you, you'd want to do the whole site. So if you want to push it into the Hellenistic period, I do have another class where I do that, but given the circumstances, that would be okay. Picking something from Egypt, rather than doing thematically, like Serapis in Egypt during a certain period, I really want you to pick a site. And so pick the whole site so that you can talk about who excavated it and the history of the site and how it fits in. I hear some background stuff, but I don't think that's a question. Kind of sounded like a child. Yeah. My dogs have been unusually good because there's nobody has walked by. And also what's also happening is a squirrel has been coming close to the front window. And, the windows go way down to almost to the ground. And so when especially Xerxes sees a squirrel, he goes crazy and he wants to chase it. He does chase them, and he comes pretty close to catching them, actually. I'm impressed. But I got to be careful because, once he sees a squirrel, that's all he sees. So cars and other things, he just blocks it all out. Kind of like a racehorse, I guess. They put the blinders on. I'm going for that squirrel. All right, you got anything else? By the way, we were supposed to have our pizza party in a week. We'll have to do that virtually, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work. But you're always invited next fall, September, even if you graduate. I know it'd be a long commute, but you are always welcome, whether you're in my classes or not. I think, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 of you, 5 of you. How many of you are graduating? Okay, L2, Anna, Samantha, Taylor, Ireland, Peter back one more, right?
Yeah, I'm not graduating.
Silas is graduating. David, you'll be back, I think.
Yes.
Josiah. So maybe out of the people that are here, only like 3 will be back. Wow. That means I'm not going to see you guys anymore. So that's kind of sad. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll go ahead and end this. This went a little longer than I thought. And by the way, the Zoom people let it go longer. It was only supposed to go 40 minutes. I had a little thing pop up on my screen and said, we're going to let you have more than 40 minutes. So that was nice of the Zoom people, whoever they are. And nobody interrupted our meeting with doing weird stuff, as some people have been doing. So that's good. I've been hearing stories about that. But okay. Anything else anybody needs? We'll get off of here and let you go do your stuff. Go about your business, secluding yourself in however it is you're doing that. And remember, if you have any questions, send me an email. We could do a Zoom one-on-one or with a couple, like if you say, hey, you just want to have a meeting for 15 minutes or whatever, just let me know and we can set that up. I'm here. most of the time, right? It's exciting today because I'm going to go to the grocery store. That's exciting and also scary. Now going to like Publix is a adventure, which I never thought that would be. But it's my wife's birthday today, so I'm going there to get her a birthday cake, and so I'm going to get other stuff while I'm there. Okay, so not much we can do on her birthday today, but that's one thing. She's been wanting a nice, one of those fancy cakes, and we're not going to get a big one because it's just the two of us. So otherwise I'll eat most of it, and I shouldn't do that. All right, anything else? No? All right, we'll sign off then, and I'll try to post all this stuff for you. Okay, bye-bye.